We have spring today. Came in at 11:50 last night, local time, and it's the earliest spring in 124 years, which is significant also. There are so many things going on today. Um, I know many of you are home that would not normally be home, so I welcome you. And if you listen to it later, then also know that you will be receiving the same impact of the energetics, whether you listen live or at a recorded point. I am going to try to post these on YouTube so you can access quite a few of them already there. I've been doing them every Friday for quite some time. This is a very special time, a very scary time for many, but a very exciting time for others. Um, I think many felt the ending at towards the end of 2019, a very strong ending energy, and I have really recognized myself that that was an end of an era, an end of a way of being. That was my information at the end of the year, and that this was going to be an extremely exciting but extremely accelerated year, because I do agree with the sidereal astrologist Nick Anthony Fiorenza, and you can find him on thelunarplanner.com. He's an amazing man. He works with sidereal astrology, which is different than tropical astrology, the one that most of us are used to and find the look up your sign thing. Sidereal astrology is the original astrology created or developed by the observations and calculations and studies of the ancient cultures such as Egypt, ancient Greece, Sumeria. So it's based in mythology, and there is a great difference in that around the 6th century, the then Pope of the Catholic Church was in disagreement with the perspective of sidereal astrology, because it is much more galactic, much more um, wider ranging, and it did not allow the Earth to be the center of the universe. So he had the foremost scientist of the time, little by little, adjust the numbers, adjust the calculations, so that Earth would be the center of the universe. And that's what we have today, is the tropical astrology, which still holds a great deal of information and a great deal of truth for us. But I align more with the sidereal astrology because of its base in the mythology of many different cultures, the thousands of years before that it was studied, worked, and again, the more soul, larger perspective than simply earth based. So please look him up. He's an amazing and prolific writer. Thelunarplanner.com. And why I say that is because he's been speaking about all year towards the end of last year, and I again was aligned with my information, that this is a year of what he terms societal reset. And it's very, very evident. We were going along, we had a very, very tumultuous January, and kind of hit us running, just a lot of speed. And we are now in the throes of the COVID-19 pandemic, was radically adjusting our entire world. This isn't a national crisis. It isn't isolated to one race, one religion, one area, one type of person. This is a worldwide effect that has slowed down the world to an extent where we can have a moment to reassess and to make the changes that we can for our planet. Obviously, all of the scientific evidence and the daily information coming about the effects of climate change and the warming of the earth due to fossil fuels was really not being acknowledged or recognized. And right now, with the beautiful effects of this drastic measure of cars and planes and factories to basically stop, we're seeing the earth able to recover in such a rapid way, in very, very drastic ways. Many of you may have seen the graphic from NASA of the change, the difference in the air over China in a matter of weeks. There is clean water running through Venice. Now, that has a lot to do with the boats aren't moving and the sediment that's down in the bottom is not being kicked up. But as a result, people are seeing fishes. The swans have come back. There are ducks in the fountains of Rome. There's animals, wild animals running the streets in many towns in Italy. They've seen deer coming out of the woods in Japan. There's beautiful videos of this that you can look up. And I think we're going to be seeing more and more and more evidence. And that's one of the most exciting effects, is the evidence of what can happen if we, again, this is drastic measures, but how easily the earth and nature can recover if we do just some steps. And what those effects are going to show in numbers and evidence of the amount of people not pollution. We don't even look at those numbers on a general basis. Something we just kind of, it's in the science community, but not widespread as far as knowledge. So there's just beautiful and wondrous effects. I know that sounds kind of crazy when there's so many people suffering, whether with the virus or financially or just not being really going to take a toll, I think. But we have such amazing means of maintaining communication, phones, video, Skype, etc., that hopefully will, bring us together more than ever before. So this is everything's up in the air. It has been for a long time, the past couple years. Everything. It's like someone took the game board and tossed it up in the air, and all the pieces are going to fall back down differently. And this is one of the huge shakeups. I keep running into people all over the place. Some of you may have seen my posts, but more and more, and I'm just going out shopping, for groceries or something. I'm not in any events. So I'm bumping into people that I don't know, that have no necessarily common thoughts or of like mind, but they are all very, very excited in their way about what's going on. I think that we've felt helpless and powerless at a lot of the changes that were going on the planet, and not able to let our voices be heard, not having the time and the energy to be able to do some of the things that we'd like to do or get involved with, or speak up or write the letters to our congressmen and senators. So it's a very, very interesting and fascinating and exciting time for us to make radical changes in our world in an extremely peaceful way. Normally, such huge changes to behavior and habits and ways of life were called forth from having to deal with wars. Um, this is not. It may be that we lose quite a few people in this, but comparatively, it's not what a war would bring. So, a peaceful way to make radical change in the world is a fascinating thing. And today, being the first day of spring, I really encourage everyone to get outside. I know we're all being requested to stay at home, but that does not mean in our homes. It doesn't mean in our houses, i.e., doors, windows closed. If you live in a house where you have a little plot of land, please, please, please go outside. Listen. Listen to the birds and the animals that you normally would not be able to because there's the constant noise of cars and planes and construction, etc. This is an amazing opportunity to reconnect with the earth, reconnect with the earth of you. And it's absolutely vital to our bodies, to our system, to our minds, to our emotions, to be connected to the earth and the earth of us. And while we are shut in, this is it's incredible that it's happening at a time when in most places around the world the weather is getting better and more and warmer, more beautiful outside, giving us the opportunity to connect and commune with aspects of nature. Oftentimes we don't see spring until everything is already out and blooming. Right now, many of you saw perhaps the picture I've posted today regarding this Facebook Live, and that was a morning picture of my magnolia tree outside my bedroom window. So it's been fascinating watching it each year. It's very, very different how it blooms, the speed at which it blooms, opening, closing. It's doing kind of that opening, closing thing right now. As a matter of fact, over the last couple of days, because the sun isn't as strong as it normally would be at the start of spring. So look at the little tiny buds. Look at the little greening of the leaves starting to pop out. This is not only a wondrous show to watch rather than your screens, but it's also, I sense, a way of telling us little things are starting to bud. There are greening of our lives, not just in regard to climate and the earth, but greening in rejuvenating to our relationships, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to our family, relationship to friends, neighbors, the earth, people around the earth. You know, other countries are in a much more difficult situation. And how can, maybe you, the wondrous thing of the internet, how can you reach out and touch somebody across the world by something you say or someone you know there and them getting the word out to others? We live in a very, very small global community comparatively. We can touch one another, we can purchase from one another, we can communicate with one another, we can pass ideas, we can show innovations that different communities are making. It is an absolutely fantastic and exciting time to be alive. And please, as always, I encourage you to acknowledge yourself, acknowledge your willingness to be here at this point in time, and be a significant part of this evolutionary leap. And it is a leap. We're seeing that by what's going on right now. The little incremental steps obviously were not what we decided we wanted to do. So we have a huge impetus. We had a huge impetus a couple of years ago, particularly in this country with the election, something that we didn't expect whatsoever, and some drastic measures that have been taken, some drastic changes that have affected and will affect our lives on a daily basis. And that, again, was an impetus to do things, unfortunately, at a pain point or from a pain point. But we tolerate, as humans, we tolerate so much. We have learned from a very young age how to tolerate, how to handle pain and fear and sorrow and just downright anger, and hold it in and tolerate more and more and more and more as it continues to happen to us. It takes a great deal for people to make change. Oftentimes it happens, again, from a pain point. But I've always said there are two things that will make someone change. Number one is they are so uncomfortable in the position that they are in, the situation that they are in, that they are willing to do anything to be able to get out of it. Or conversely, they see and know what is possible, where they want to be, how they want their lives to be. And that desire pulls them towards that by making the changes. So this is an opportunity, although it looks and does feel in many ways like a pain point, it is also giving us the opportunity to see what the potential is when and as we make some changes in our lives, financially, economically, with our entire country's government, in relationship to companies, our bosses, our the CEOs. We just keep going along every single day. There's so much that goes on in life. We're so busy. We have so much to contend with that one more thing and one more thing on our plate seems too much. But now we have an opportunity. We have a pause point. And above all else, we have opportunity. So please sit with yourself. This is a beautiful time for introspection. Unlike the introspection of winter, where we go in our caves or inside to be able to explore ourselves, I invite you to go inside, but outside. Please sit on the land. Lean up against a tree. Feel yourself connected to this beautiful, magnificent planet that is evidencing every day in spring that no matter what harsh winter brings, it still recovers. It still blossoms. It still blooms. It still gives. It still recovers. So allow that to be the sign for today, the symbol of this constant regeneration, this constant rejuvenation. And those are some of the energetics that are definitely here today. This huge life force that continues to go on no matter what. That is the underlying and constant in our universe and beyond, that life force. So I invite you now to just settle down in your chairs or your couch or floor, whatever you're sitting on. And I invite you to find your butt bones, and those are right in the middle of your bottom cheek. And if you make sure you're sitting on them, you can kind of rock around a little bit, rotate to find them. And once you're well planted on them, then you can allow yourself to settle down into your skeletal system, which is designed to hold you up without you having to do so. Even when we're walking, when we're sitting, we have a tendency to sit like this, whether we're aware of it or not. And energetically, we're pulling our energy fields up into the upper part of our body so that we can utilize our mind, our reasoning, our shoulders in the doing, our upper back in the will to face everything, to get it done. And so as not to come down into the torso, the feeling centers. For your defense system was created when you were very young to keep you from feeling all of those huge, painful, infuriating, sorrow-filled, scary feelings that are down inside. But your defense system does not know that you are now an adult with an adult's intelligence and accumulation of experience and ability to be able to feel and transform those emotions into assets. So it is not easy to allow your energy field to come down and in. So we're just going to walk through this a little bit. I know many of you are practiced meditators, but that generally is a path where you're going up and out through your third eye to a place, either your higher mind or a wonderful spiritual place where you don't have the human experience. This is a bit different. This is a different practice. So I'm going to invite you to not go out your general pathway or your normal pathway, but instead to go inward to your inner world, your inner verse, your internal universe, which allows you to actually travel in the greater universe. And in order to do so, I invite you each to say out loud or to yourself the following. I ask and I allow my body. I ask and I allow my energy field. I ask and I allow my wider self. I ask and I allow my guides, teachers, masters. I ask and I allow all parts of me. I ask and I allow all times of me. to join me here and now, assisting me in coming down and in me. Trusting your energy field, your wider self, to do just that. For they know exactly how and the best way for you to drop down and in you. So there is quite a bit of letting go or surrender, all terms involved or part of the allowing in the I ask and I allow. We have so much help. So many are in on this process with us. We have the blooming and the blossoming and the rejuvenation of the trees and the flowers, the grass, the birthing of so many little critters, animals coming out of their winter hibernation, insects, the tree beings who not only bring us beauty and fruit, nuts, but also shelter and our homes to so many different animals, whether in their branches or in their base or in the very root structures. So many of you are probably feeling the energetics beginning to create the sacred geometric for today. Know that this sacred geometric configuration is not only from and of and for those that are present at this moment, but also incorporating anyone at any point in time who may be listening and participating in this energetic practice. For there is no linear time when we move into non-physical states of being. So again, really allowing yourself to feel your energy field. It's challenging because it's very subtle and we don't generally notice or have a sensation of. But what you might experience as we go along is a heavy sensation, or maybe a full or substancing of your body before we drop into the next levels. And if you don't feel anything, that's quite all right as well. And we also have quite a few different animals, animal teachers joining us at this time. Woodpecker is a very, very, very interesting and universal animal teacher. And at some point after the practice, I invite you to look up either in Animal Medicine, if you have that book by Andrews, or just Googling woodpeckers and letting the information come to you that is exactly right for you. So I'm going to invite in our constant helpers when we're doing such a practice. Mikhail, who is one of the not only protecting forces, but also really presencing mutual duality, meaning that all that is apparently good and all that is apparently bad, all that is of earth, all that is of heaven, all that is of the feminine, all that is of the masculine, all of the different dualities that we have the great good fortune to experience as humans are equally divine, equally purposeful, equally present for us. I also call in and call upon the divine feminine, represented by so many, such as Mother Mary, Tara, Kuan Yin, Sophia, Amma, the Great Mother. I call in and call upon the ancients to show us, teach us, guide us, and remind us who we are. I call in and call upon the great healers today. Chiron, Thoth, Imhotep, Hermes, Trismegistus, Asclepius, Hippocrates, I call in and call upon Lady Gaia, who is in this process of evolution just as we are, in her own way, but with us, in cooperation and conjunction with us. I call in and call upon the elementals, the sylphs, the undines, salamander and dwarves, to put in right relationship the earth, air, fire, and water of you. I call in and call upon the directions to situate us, center us in the exact right positioning in relationship to the east with Brother Eagle, in relationship to the west with Brother Bear, in relationship to the south with Brother Fox and Sister Porcupine, in relationship to the north with Our Lady White Buffalo, in relationship to the below with all the inner earth beings that maintain and engineer behind the scenes this planet. I call in and call upon the direction of above, our cosmic family, and I call in and call upon the direction of within for each and every one of us. And I invoke the Supreme Council of Universal Spiritual Law such that everything that is within this practice and in your lives be done under the auspices and within spiritual law. So many of you may be feeling the completion of the sacred geometric configuration, which only means that you are situated in the exact right positioning within this configuration for your highest and best benefit, individuated and yet intricately interconnected with all those listening and or who will be listening. So now I'm going to invite you to once again ask and allow your wider self, your energy field, to bring you down and in you another level. Nothing you need do, nothing you need know. Simply allow for it to be done for you. I'm going to continue to speak simply so your system can receive the transmission of the energetics, but you need not follow my words or any of the ideas or terms that I'm stating, but instead to simply sensate and experience your own inner universe. That doesn't mean you have to track it or see it. Just for a little bit, simply allow yourself to receive, to be taken, to be tended to. Your energy field, your wider self, your guides and teachers and masters know exactly what you need and what you desire. Allow them to bring to you just that. One of the very, very strong energetics coming through is, of course, as I mentioned, the life force. This life force that runs through and in and as you, through and in and as everything in this universe. And when we get scared, or oftentimes even when we get very, very busy, we actually turn the volume down on that life force unconsciously as a means of managing, handling, controlling what is around us or coming at us or even within us. So we have an opportunity in this moment to open up the channels for pure life force. And you may feel that coming in also through your legs, your first chakra, if you know where that is. For in this beautiful first day of spring, that life force is so evident through the many aspects of nature. And the life-givingness from the earth itself. So, as it gently enters into your system more and more, feeding, rejuvenating, regenerating, tissues, organs, glands, your nervous system, all the synaptic endings, that have been a bit on overload lately. So really, again, allow opening for this life force energy. Nothing you need do, nothing you need know, nothing you need see, nothing you need track whatsoever. Simply enable your body and energy field to do what they know how to do. And as that life force continues to enter your system, to flow through your system, down to the very cells, boosting each cell's capacity, functioning, for it is when and as the system, the body is at its optimum, that it may ward off anything from outside. So for quite some time we've had the presence of, they're calling themselves the Health Council. And they are tending to each and every one of you individually and as a group, for when two or more are gathered with a specific intention or idea, the effects are wide-ranging. So I invite you now. If you don't hear my voice clearly, that's quite alright. If you're falling asleep, that's even better. But we're going to drop in one more level of this rejuvenating, regenerative life force, life-giving force for your body, for your energy field, again, nothing you need do, simply allow. This life force so very evident. Not only in spring, but in the rejuvenation, regeneration, recuperation of this planet in this pause point. So as you are experiencing the life force feeding, filling you, so too is it filling, feeding, rejuvenating the land. For that is a structure within your own energy field. Not only the land upon which you live, but the land as it runs through your cultural heritage, so you are actually in this moment channeling and transmitting to those countries that you are ancestrally connected to. For each and every one is touched by what is occurring now. And you are a living, breathing, energetic, physical channel without having to do a thing. without any effort. So the integration is beginning, and that is very, very unique to each one of you. So please do not push yourself back or decide with your mind how this occurs, but instead allow yourself to follow the lead of your energy field and your wider self, not with your mind, but simply sensating how this organically, gradually, gently may occur. For since it is so very individual, the way and the timing of moving from a more non-physical state to a more physical state is very unique to you. So really take your time and listen to your body and your energy field as to when exactly to open your eyes or move, for it is entirely your way. And as that is occurring, it's much like kind of slowly, lazily waking up from sleep. Sometimes you kind of roll back in and out again. So if that's what your system is calling for, please allow that. In the meantime, I'm going to mention some upcoming events, occurrences. Today was scheduled the equinox celebration or ceremony. I think it's the 13th that I've been holding. And since gathering together in a group is not part of the safety measures that we're experiencing right now, I am opening staggered times for walking the labyrinth. Please call me or PM me if you would like to set up a time when you and spouse, kids, whatever, one family group at a time or one person at a time will be allotted a half an hour to walk the labyrinth and have it to yourself. I am also going to be doing another Facebook Live on Sunday, as it is Earth Day, the 50th, hard to believe, and that will occur at 1:30. And again on Sunday I'll be opening slots for the labyrinth if you'd like to walk and connect to the earth in that way. If not, please, please, please get out in this amazing weather, certainly that we're having today here on the East Coast. There are so many who are going through blizzard conditions, storms, etc. So when you get out and enjoy and connect and commune with the earth and the plants and the trees, you are benefiting all of those who may not be able to on this first day of spring. Not to mention yourselves. Please take good care, follow all the rules and regulations that your township, your county, your state, your country are laying down, are laying out for you. But more than anything, please take this time to connect to you, to connect to your family, but to connect to the earth. It is absolutely vital for your physical well-being to be on the earth. So get out there. If you have a yard, even if it's all landscape, find a little patch that you can dig up and plant something, get in the dirt, feel the soil. It is rejuvenating to your immune system, actually, because the energetics of the earth are aligning with the energetics of your energy field and feeding all of your systems. So please do that. Get out and walk, move. It's very, very tempting, of course, to be on screens, and many of us must and have to. So give me a call if I can be of service in any way. I am still seeing clients, certainly by video, FaceTime, Skype. And in the meantime, be well, be well, be well. In all ways. Huge electronic hug. Bye.